You know the internet has reached peak madness when a jar of bathwater can turn someone into a legend. Not an iPhone drop, not a Hollywood scandal, not even a viral TikTok dance. Nope, just water from a pink-haired girl's bathtub. And the wildest part? People actually bought it. That pink-haired girl was Belle Delphine. And this wasn't just a random joke. It was the spark that launched her from quirky cosplayer to internet myth, and eventually to millionaire entrepreneur. But before the money, before the scandals, and before the $10 million empire, it all started with an idea so absurd, it was impossible to ignore. By 2019, influencer culture was already bursting at the seams. Everyone wanted to be famous online. TikTok was turning teenagers into overnight stars. YouTubers were staging pranks so fake even your grandma could tell. And Instagram was clogged with carbon copy photos. Brunch shots, travel selfies, gym progress pics. Influencers were all chasing the same aesthetic: polished, safe, brand-friendly. But Belle Delphine wasn't interested in being safe. Her real name is Mary Belle Kirshner, and her early content was nothing like the pastel perfection clogging Instagram. She leaned into something messier, weirder, and way more entertaining: the e-girl persona. Pink wigs, cat ears, anime cosplay, ridiculous facial expressions. It was part sexy, part parody, and all internet native. Belle wasn't pretending to be some glamorous lifestyle blogger. She was trolling. Every post had a wink in it, like she was daring you to take her too seriously. She leaned into irony and blurred the line between fantasy and satire. And the internet, of course, ate it up. She knew her audience wasn't just looking for thirst traps. They were looking for something more outrageous, more memeable, more chaotic. And Belle gave it to them. She wasn't just a creator, she was a performer. Then came the bathwater. In July 2019, Belle announced that she was selling gamer girl bathwater. Little plastic jars, $30 a pop, filled, according to her, with the water she'd bathed in. At first, people thought it was a parody. Surely she wasn't actually scooping water from her tub, bottling it and mailing it across the globe. But it was real. And here's the part that turned the internet upside down. It sold fast. In just 3 days, every single jar was gone. Somewhere between 500 and 600 units flew off the shelves, netting her roughly $18,000 to $20,000 in less than a week. Think about that. Most people grind at jobs for months to see that kind of cash. Belle did it with bubble bath and a funnel. But the real value wasn't the money, it was the spectacle. Suddenly, every corner of the internet was talking about Belle Delphine. Memes exploded. People joked about drinking the water, cooking pasta in it, even injecting it like some forbidden serum. Fake news stories popped up, claiming people got sick from it. Twitter threads spiraled into absurd theories. Even major outlets like Business Insider and LAD Bible covered it. Belle didn't just sell water. She sold the internet's strangest inside joke. Owning a jar wasn't about hydration. It was about owning a cultural artifact. For $30, you could be part of history. And this is where Belle's genius really showed. The bathwater wasn't just a stunt. It was performance art, a parody of influencer merch that was also somehow real merch. No glossy branding, no big ad budget, just one outrageous idea. And the internet did all her marketing for free. But every story needs a villain. And this one wasn't angry parents or Twitter mobs. It was PayPal. Belle ran her sales through them and they weren't amused. They flagged her account for adult content, even though it was just water, and froze it. Not a pause, completely locked. 90 grand, gone. And to make it worse, they threatened her with $2,500 fines per violation. Imagine selling out worldwide, only to be told you can't touch a cent, like hitting the jackpot and having the casino slam the window shut in your face. Now here's where most people would have cracked. If you were 19, had just pulled off the stunt of the decade, and then lost nearly all the money overnight, wouldn't you panic? Wouldn't you rage quit? But Belle didn't flinch, because she understood something way bigger than a frozen account. Attention is the real currency of the internet. Money can disappear, algorithms can change, platforms can ban you, but attention? Once you have it, you can turn it into money over and over again. And Belle had everyone's attention. Even though the $90,000 was gone, she had become infamous. She was trending. She was a meme. She had broken into the cultural conversation in a way no one else had managed that year. And in the online world, that kind of notoriety is priceless. The bathwater stunt wasn't about the jars. It was about proving that the absurd is more powerful than the polished. That irony is stronger than sincerity. That if you can get people talking, even if they're mocking you, you've already won. And Belle knew exactly how to use that momentum. This was the era when OnlyFans was just starting to take off. At first, the platform marketed itself as a place for creators of all kinds, fitness instructors, musicians, chefs. But it quickly became synonymous with adult content. And for Belle, who had already blurred the line between parody and provocation, OnlyFans was the natural next step. She'd already proven people would pay $30 for water. Imagine what they'd pay for content. So, Belle Delphine had just pulled off the weirdest stunt of 2019. She sold out jars of bathwater, went viral worldwide, and then had almost all the money frozen by PayPal. For most people, that's where the story would end. Internet fame is fickle. One week you're a meme, the next you're forgotten. But Belle, she didn't just survive the chaos, she weaponized it. The bathwater fiasco proved one thing: she could bend the internet to her will. With a single idea, she hijacked the global conversation. And when you can do that, money will always follow. Which is why when OnlyFans started heating up, Belle was already primed to dominate. OnlyFans at the time was a strange beast. It was marketed as a subscription platform for all creators. But let's be honest, most people knew it for one thing: adult content. And Belle's audience was perfectly tuned for that. She had millions of fans, she was infamous for pushing boundaries, and she had just shown she could get people to pay $30 for water. Content was the obvious next step. When she launched her OnlyFans, it was like a bomb going off. Fans flooded in, eager to see what she would post. And she delivered exactly what they expected: provocative, weird, playful, and self-aware content that blurred the line between fantasy and parody. She wasn't just uploading photos, she was building an experience. And the numbers? Ridiculous. Reports at the time estimated she was making 7 figures every month. Some outlets claimed she was raking in $1.2 million. Others pushed it closer to $2 million. Even if you cut those numbers in half, they're still life-changing. Within months, Belle had made more money than most influencers could dream of in a lifetime. But what set her apart wasn't just the income, it was the way she did it. Belle understood that she wasn't selling videos or images. She was selling intimacy, the illusion of access, the feeling that fans were in on something private and exclusive. She blurred the line between trolling and connection so well that people couldn't tell where one ended and the other began. And while other influencers were stressing over YouTube demonetization or chasing brand deals, Belle was completely independent. No middlemen, no ad revenue splits, no corporate overlords. Just her and her fans, directly. That's internet entrepreneurship in its purest form. But Belle being Belle, she couldn't resist adding more chaos to the mix. Because just as her OnlyFans empire was exploding, she disappeared. One day she was everywhere, the next she was gone. No posts, no updates, no explanations. Fans freaked out, haters celebrated, rumors spiraled out of control. Some said she'd been arrested, others thought she'd quit forever. Conspiracy theories piled up, and then months later, she came back. Bigger, louder, stranger. In 2020, she dropped a music video parody of rapper 6ix9ine's Gooba. It was bizarre, colorful, full of surreal visuals and over-the-top performances. Some people loved it, some people hated it, but everyone watched it. And that was the point. This became her pattern: disappear, return, disappear, return. Each comeback was treated like an event. Each silence built suspense. Most creators vanish and lose momentum. Belle turned vanishing into marketing strategy. The mystery wasn't a weakness, it was fuel. She made people crave her return. And when it came, she cashed in big. Of course, with fame came controversy. Belle faced criticism from mainstream media, who dismissed her as, "What's wrong with the internet?" She was accused of being exploitative, manipulative, even harmful to younger fans. Some critics couldn't decide if she was a genius entrepreneur or a cautionary tale. But here's the thing: Belle never pretended to be wholesome. She wasn't out here pitching detox teas or trying to look like a role model. She embraced the chaos. She was the chaos. She leaned into the trolling, laughed at the criticism, and turned every attempt to cancel her into more memes. Ironically, that made her more authentic than a lot of influencers. People could tell she wasn't fake. She wasn't pretending to be perfect. She was unapologetically herself. Messy, weird, and playful. That rawness is what kept her fans loyal. By 2022, estimates put her total earnings from OnlyFans at over $10 million. $10 million. From cosplay, trolling, and a bathtub stunt. It wasn't just luck. It was strategy. Belle understood internet attention better than almost anyone. She didn't need mainstream respectability. She didn't need Hollywood or brands. She had memes. And memes are more powerful than marketing. And then the story came full circle. Remember that $90,000 PayPal froze back in 2019? For 5 years, it sat locked away. Belle had already moved on, made millions, and built her empire. But in 2024, PayPal quietly returned the money. Just like that, the lost Bathwater fortune was back. By then, $90,000 was pocket change compared to what she was making. But symbolically, it was perfect. The meme had an ending. The arc was complete. A joke that started in a bathtub ended with poetic justice. Belle Delphine's story is more than just a headline about bathwater. It's a blueprint for understanding internet fame. She proved that attention is the most valuable currency online. She showed that absurdity, when embraced, is a business model. She blurred the lines between art, trolling, and entrepreneurship until you couldn't tell where one stopped and the other started. She never tried to be a role model. She never begged for respect. She embraced the fact that she was unserious, and that made her untouchable. She didn't climb the influencer ladder. She drowned it in bathwater, slapped a label on it, and sold it for $30 a jar. And maybe that's why people still talk about her. Because Belle Delphine wasn't just an influencer. She was performance art. She was satire. She was chaos turned into cash. So what's the lesson here? Honestly, it depends on how you look at it. Some people see Belle as proof of how ridiculous the internet has become. Others see her as a genius entrepreneur who hacked the system. Maybe she's both. Maybe that's the point. But one thing's for sure. She understood the game better than almost anyone. She proved that in the digital age, being bold, weird, and unapologetically yourself can be more powerful than being polished, safe, and brand-friendly. And love her or hate her, you have to respect the hustle. Now I want to hear from you. Would you have bought the bathwater, or would you have laughed at the people who did? Drop your take in the comments. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this wild ride through internet history. And of course, hit subscribe, because I've got plenty more stories where memes, madness, and money collide. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's next.